Going over the fundamentals and basics of our ibadat. We have covered a lot of ground in terms of our salah and how to perform the fundamentals, and then we got into miscellaneous issues. Last week we touched Salatul Witr, but we couldn't finish because Salatul Ishraq came and I didn't want to tire you guys and keep you for too long. But in terms of Salatul Witr, you have many different variations to it. But the three main ways is you pray that most of us are aware of is 3 rak'ah, you sit after 2, and the third one you pray together, right? That's the one most of us are aware of. And then you have 2, you sit down, you salam, and then 1 separately. And then the last one is you don't sit at the second one, you pray all 3 straight and you give salam at the end. So these are the ones that we know of. Now there are some other narrations. If you put all of those together, you have about 13 different ways of praying it. And I had worked on a paper on this about more than a decade ago, so I'm just referring back to that. Ibn Hazm al-Zahiri, he puts together 13 various ways the Prophet ﷺ might have performed it. Quickly going over all of them. 13 rak'at, at the end you pray 1 rak'ah with 1 salam. 13 rak'at at the end you pray 5 rak'at with 1 salam. 11 rak'at at the end you pray 1 rak'ah with 1 salam. 9 rak'at and one of them is witr. 9 rak'at, 2 sittings, 1 salam. So it keeps going 7, 5, 3, 1. But you can see that there's no need to basically, at this point of our lives, just pray the way you have been praying, and that is completely fine. As far as making up the witr prayer, that is of something that's pertinent to all of us. So the Hanafi fiqh, you can just pray it as it is. Whenever you remember, you can just pray it as it is. Other madhahib, like we said last week, that you pray whatever amount you pray usually for witr, you just add 1 more to it in the morning. So if you pray 3 rak'ah in the morning, you wake up and you pray 4, 2 by 2. And the preference for that is because in the daytime there's no odd number of pairs. It's supposed to be done in 2s. So that's one reason that's given. Another question that was left over is about sajdatul tilawa for menstruating sisters. So her condition is like the person who's perhaps sleeping, that didn't have a valid hearing, because at that point salah was not required of her, and so most scholars say she doesn't even have to do it. She doesn't even have to do it even later. And some scholars say she can do sajdatul tilawa, she can even recite the Quran. So there's open ground there as well. But whatever that you stick to, just stick to that one after you consult with a scholar that you trust. So that is the best way to move forward, inshallah. If there's any other questions about witr or sajdatul tilawa, if not, we move on to making up prayers, making up missed prayers. So تأخير الصلاة المفروضة عن وقتها من غير عذر, that if you delay your prayer from its time, that is considered a kaba'ir, that is considered a major sin if you do it without any reason. There's 2 sins one accrues from not praying on time. One is that you're leaving the salah, and one is you're delaying the salah. Okay, and leaving the salah, you can make it up later, but delaying the salah for no reason, you don't get forgiven unless you do tawbah. And so it's very important that we understand the importance of salah. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, "Inna salata kanat al mu'mina kitaban mawquta." That salah has been prescribed at a specific time, right? Alhamdulillah, all of us, we know of the different times. You know, they joke about EST and then DST. When you have a function or a wedding you go to, they say 2 o'clock, but they start at like 4 o'clock maybe. But when it comes to salah, alhamdulillah, if it says Jama'ah is at 1:30, exactly on the dot, we start at 1:30. And so that is a good thing, alhamdulillah. That is salah. It's supposed to be done exactly when the time comes in. In some parts of the world, actually, as soon as time comes in, the adhan goes off. And then 10, 15 minutes after that, it is known that Jama'ah is going to start. But because we live in a part of the world where the time changes drastically for everyone's convenience, we keep it at a certain time of the year. So that's that. But as far as making up the prayer, like we said, it's very important that we pray it on time. But it does happen. It does happen. The Prophet ﷺ said that forgetfulness, رُفِعَ عَنْ أُمَّتِي الْخَطَأُ وَالنِّسْيَانِ, making mistake and forgetting, that has been removed and forgiven for my ummah. And even the Prophet ﷺ, there was a couple of instances here and there where him, along with all the other Sahaba, they missed the prayer. Perhaps because to teach us how to pray it when we wake up. And this happened at several instances. Now, as far as making up the prayers, there's no way to do kafara for it. The only thing you can do is make up the prayer. So if someone passes away and they had a lot of salah upon them, you can't give kafara. Like let's say you want to give, for every salah you give $10 or something. That's not how it works. They have to make it up. And if they weren't able to make it up, then tawbah is the only thing, and we make dua that Allah forgives them. But yes, there's no other way to make it up. So no matter how much the number has accumulated, you have to make them up. Now, as far as keeping the order when we are making up our prayers, if it's five or less, then you keep the order of the prayer. So let's say you miss 5 salah from Fajr to Isha, then you start with Fajr and then Dhuhr and then Isha. You don't switch up the order. And if it's 6 or more, then it goes to a number that's called kathra, is a lot, it's abundant. It's become problematic to keep the order. So maybe let's say there was a certain stage in your life you weren't so keen or punctual about your prayer, and you have maybe hundreds that you have to make up. So some scholars say because it's so much, afallahu amma salaf, Allah has forgiven what's in the past. And some say no, you make them up. And your niyyah should be the first dhuhr salah, let's say, that I've missed, that is fard upon me to do makeup. I am making up that prayer, and then you make it up. Now let's say you come from Maghrib time and you just miss Asr salah, immediate Asr salah that just took place, you miss that, and it's time for Maghrib. What do you do? Or the Jama'at has started. So even there you prioritize the missed prayer, unless you think that you're going to miss the congregational prayer. If you think you're going to miss the Jamaat, then you go catch the Jamaat. But if you feel like you have time, then you make it up. That's only for that immediate salah that you just missed. So that is in regards to some topics about missing our salah or making up salah from the past. So Allah Azza wa Jalla forgive all of us for any salah we have missed and any negligence we've had around that. Allah Azza wa Jalla give us tawfiq to pray our salah in time, on time as well. Now moving forward to Salatul Jumu'ah. Salatul Jumu'ah, yes. Yeah, beyond the waqt. Yeah, good point. Delay beyond the waqt. Right. So that's what I said. When it's a lot, you don't know. Some scholars say, Afallah, Allah says Allah has forgiven what's in the past. It's so much, it's haraj, you can't even keep up. So you leave it. That's probably overwhelming opinion is that. But other scholars say that, yes, and there's no way you can make up for that much or keep account or tally of it, yes. Yeah, you can do that, yes. So when there's so much that you have missed, well, so we know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he says that when, in the Day of Judgment, when there's deficiencies in our fard salah, then Allah will look at our voluntary nafil salah. So the more nafil we do, the more balance we have, inshallah, that can work in our favor on the Day of Judgment. When they'll MashaAllah, yes. So these are hacks. MashaAllah. So every year you go for Umrah, you use that as a means of kafara, as the Prophet ﷺ says, Wal Jum'atul Jum'ah kafara, wal Umrah min al Umrah kafara. Each, yes. Salam. So the Prophet ﷺ started praying when Salah became fard from the time of Mi'raj. So he went for Mi'raj maybe the 8th, 9th year after Da'wah started. So he would be nearly 50. Yeah. But that's when Salah became fard. So as soon as Salah became fard, he started praying. So, right? Oh, for us, when we become baligh, when we become mature, when a boy goes through this, no. It's the age of puberty. So for boys, when the signs of puberty shows, specifically wet dream or pubic hair, things like that. But if none of those things show, then the age of 15. Yes. And similarly for girls, when she shows the sign of puberty, like the menstrual monthly cycles, then when she become baligh. But you don't tell her to start praying from that time. You tell the children to start praying way earlier. The Prophet ﷺ said, tell your children to pray at 7. And if they don't pray by 10, start disciplining them. So then when it becomes fard, they're already habituated to it. So habits, it's very important to build those habits early on. And we understand the power of habits, good or bad, right? So, yes. So you miss Asr Salah and the Maghrib Jamaat has started, right? So in this case, you pray the Asr, the immediate Asr that just passed. If you miss that, you pray it, unless you think you're going to miss the Jamaat. Yeah. Why would you repeat Maghrib again? You just pray the Asr. You just pray the Asr. Asr. No, just Asr. I see. No, I think that becomes too complicated because the first one counts as your fard. And then even if you were to do nafil, there's no 3 nafil. So, yeah, it's just, you pray your asr right after, inshallah, as soon as you're done, yeah. When the sun is setting, you can't pray anything, right? Unless it's the asr for that time only. So you can start your asr even if the sun is setting, as long as it hasn't disappeared completely, the disk of the sun. Salatul Jumu'ah, Salat, yes. So that is, yeah. So that as the days become shorter and shorter, the frequencies of the prayer become back to back, and you end up right, and the time also becomes shorter. But to combine the prayers by delaying the first one and hastening the second one as a habit is not something that's encouraged. But under extraordinary circumstances, that can be an option. But Under normal time, that should not become a habit, inshallah. And especially in the winter when the days become short, I recommend everyone to get those socks where you can, well, that's also debatable, but get the socks that you can do wudu on. So when you're at work, and even if you have to make wudu, you're just doing the upper limbs, and then you're able to pray easier, inshallah. Okay, so Salatul Jumu'ah, some things around that. It is a fardu ayn upon a person who is not traveling, as he is in the city or big villages, and he can attend the Jumu'ah as fardu ayn. So some may think Dhuhr is the fard and Jumu'ah is maybe something that's extra. No, it's a fardu ayn just like any other salah. Rather, there's much more emphasis given to Salatul Jumu'ah, because Allah specifically talks about this ibadah in the Quran in Surah Al-Jum'ah. إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. When the call is made for Jum'ah prayer, then exert your energy and efforts to the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ, and leave, abandon all your businesses. That is better for you only if you knew. So sometimes we come to the masjid, but we're still on our businesses, maybe checking the cameras on our business, customers coming in or not. So now they even virtually leave your businesses behind. And it's very important when we are listening to the khutbah that we don't do anything else. And the importance of it is shown by the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, لَا يَنْتَهِيَنَّ أَقْوَامٌ عَنْ وَدْعِهِمُ الْجُمُعَاتِ أَوْ لَيَخْتِمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ ثُمَّ لَيَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. That people must stop neglecting Jum'ah Salah, lest Allah will put a seal over their hearts. Then they will become permanently from the people of negligent people, from the ghafilin. So Jum'ah prayer is something that a lot more importance has to be given. Sometimes, even though we have 5 Jumu'ah Salah going on, because of our lack of planning, we end up coming just in time to maybe catch the Jamaat when it starts. But then we come and we see like salam is given. And you see sometimes brothers, unfortunately, have to leave from the doors because they just didn't make it, or they were just trying to catch the 2 rak'at. So it's very important that we make those arrangements from before to get our Jumu'ah Salah. And most of our employers, I'm sure, even legally, they're obliged to accommodate for us once a week. It's not too much. So that's something we have to plan for from before, inshallah. The Prophet ﷺ also said Jum'ah is mandatory except for the following people: Sabi, a child; a mamluk, a slave, back in the days; or musafir, or someone who is traveling. And this is the ijma' consensus of all the 4 imams. There is a hadith where a person came while the Prophet ﷺ was giving khutbah, and he said, "Did you pray, O such and such?" He said, "No." He said, "Qum farqa," stand up and pray. So like we just said, during khutbah you're not supposed to do anything. Even if you tell somebody don't do something, you're making a mistake. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you play with pebbles on the ground, then you have sinned, you have erred. So how about the salah? You're not supposed to do that either. So some say, yeah, look, the Prophet ﷺ said to pray, so you should pray. Some say this happened before the Prophet ﷺ started giving the khutbah. And some say that this happened before the prohibition came to do anything else during the khutbah. And the thing of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, they're just text, right? Of course, it's not like a video footage where we can see the context before and after, we can hear and see. We don't have all those audio visuals. It's just a text. And these scholars can only do their best to extract the best judgment and decision they can come up with. And that's why we have differences of opinion, and they're all valid, given that the person who's giving this opinion has the authority to give those opinions. Allah says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ, ask the people of knowledge. So there are certain people that are people of knowledge, only they can interpret it, and those will be valid interpretations. But there's nothing wrong at all whatsoever in having difference of opinion. But it's important for us that we stick to one. One time I was in Saudi, in Masjid al-Nabawi, there's a library in the Prophet's Masjid. You go upstairs in a huge library. So we go to the checkout counter, And as I was waiting for someone to come, there was a little sticker there that said something about this, and it stayed with me. It just felt like it was speaking to a large or a common problem in our ummah, which is that sometimes people distance themselves from certain things because there's ikhtilaf of the ulama. The ulama has difference of opinion. I don't even want to do it anymore. So it becomes so diluted that it doesn't mean anything to you anymore. That's not how it should be. We have to understand difference of opinion completely fine. And we accept that in our laws of the land. Right? You have the same constitution interpreted by different judges and states differently, right? But they have the authority to do it. That's what it is. So in New Jersey, for example, or Texas, let's say, you go and there's like gun shops everywhere almost, maybe. But you go to the masjid, you see stickers, no open carry allowed. Because it's common for people to carry guns. But in New York, it's much more strict. You don't see that. It's the same constitution, but it's interpreted differently based on where you live and how it's interpreted. So Allah talks about that in the Quran. The people of remembrance, the people of knowledge. And He says, لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَ. He talks about the people who extract rulings from Quran and Sunnah. He talks about that specific group. So as we have all this difference of opinion, but we should still remain sincere and genuine in our ibadat. That I'm going to stick to one, and that is going to be my religion. That is going to be my way of worshiping Allah Azza wa Jal. I should not become confused and deviated and misguided just because difference of opinion exists. So, and maybe in America, it's something that we see more common. If we came from cultures where only one madhab was followed, we were never confused. This is how we do it. When you come to America, it's a melting pot. People come from all over the world, and there's all different madhab, and we see it manifested, and that's fine. We should not become confused. In the haram, back in the days, there used to be 4 jama'ats of 4 different madhab. That's how open they were to, accepting difference of opinions. And then, of course, now it is just one jama'at. So we should all remain, keep that spirit up as well, inshallah. So these are some miscellaneous things, yes. The Masjid library, the Prophet, yeah. So from the Qibla, it's on the right side. So if the Qibla is this way, it's on the right side. I think it's by Bab Bukhari, door 14, something like that. But next time when we go together, inshallah, we'll go and see it, inshallah. Any questions? As if Jummah is not, as if khutbah is not. Right. So the khutbah is, right. So that's something else, right? Khutbah is part of the salah. And if a person misses the khutbah, it's like, right, exactly. So and there's so much reward, and the Prophet emphasizes so much about the entire day of Jummah, not just the salah. He talks about things that are before the khutbah, like taking a shower, putting good clothes on, nice clean clothes, perfume on, and walking, and all of those things. How about the khutbah itself? How much importance is there to that? And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that the malaika, they wait by the door. They're writing the reward of the people that are coming until the khatib comes out to give the khutbah, and then he stops, and then the angels stop writing the reward, and that's with the khutbah. So these are, bad practices that have become common in our communities, and that's something that should be, awareness should be raised, and the ignorance should be uplifted. If we can do other things, we can do this as well. Alhamdulillah, in our masjid we have 5. There's 5 different timings we can catch. It's only half an hour. So those things importance should be given to those, inshallah, due importance. So these are some things, inshallah. We'll continue next week with Salatul Eidain. Also for Salatul Jum'ah, the sunnah regarding it, there's 4 before, 4 after. 4 before, 4 after. There's other opinions as well. But whatever practice you've been doing, there's no need to change that. But it's just Hanafi fiqh, 4 before, 4 after. Yeah, and so that's that, inshallah. Any questions? What time is it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we can have some leeway, some excuse for them, because they also working as security, and if you go in the Haramain, you see security, they're not even praying the Jum'ah, they pray it after, so you can have some excuse for them, but while the khutbah is going on, they should definitely be quiet as well. Now here the other thing about khutbah, where is the khutbah? Which one is the khutbah? So sometimes our khatib, they consider the Arabic as the khutbah, and sometimes the English talk is not the khutbah, it's just a talk, right? So, but if you see that the khatib has started the English as part of his khutbah, and that is the khutbah, that's the actual one, no other khutbah after it, then yes, of course, importance should be given to that. Mm-hmm. What's the reason behind it? Right, right. So the debate behind that is that some scholars say the khutbah, because it's part of salah, like our brother Abdulaziz said, and salah is done in Arabic, the khutbah has to be done only in Arabic. If it's not in Arabic, it's not the actual khutbah. And some scholars say no. The point of the khutbah is to get a message across to the listeners. We have not sent a prophet except with the language of the people. So if khutbah is the only time vast majority of the community comes to listen to a sermon and they don't get anything out of it, then what's the point? You're defeating the purpose. So you have two camps of scholars. Now which one is right, which one is wrong? We're open to the scholar, whatever they prefer. We trust their knowledge and their tradition of scholarship that they've been following. We just leave it up to them. But we as the musallis, we won't be, inshallah, held accountable for anything like this. Right, right, yes. Right, exactly. So usually that happens as soon as they come. Our mu'adhin asks, do you want the adhan now or later? So if he says now, then that's the only khutbah. So in the Hanafi madhab, the stricter camp says is not allowed, and this is probably what's more common. They're very strict. It has to be done in Arabic. Right, that's just the strict group, and that's okay. It's fine. But we cannot say the other way is invalid. You cannot say that. Hmm? Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they make it like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, namaz become due and they call the adhan.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, the khatib takes,
Yes.
he starts khutbah.
Yes.
And he sits in between and then.
Yes. 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 So.
I'm thinking if this 15 minutes ahead of the time, is part of khutbah or it is not?
No, it's not going to be, and you can't even give adhan during that time. Yeah. Right. So over there, it works in our favor to not call that. But yeah, so only in the summer this happens because salah time comes later. Yeah, inshallah. So we have some time for ishraq, inshallah, if you want to finish your adhkar and then pray ishraq and go, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.